The debate hall was silent for a split second before chaos erupted. Ivanka Trump leaned forward, her voice sharp, trying to seize control of the stage. She spoke with confidence, invoking her family's legacy, presenting herself as the polished defender of the Trump name. But before her words could settle, Jasmine Crockett cut in with precision. Her tone was electric, every syllable slicing through the air like a blade. "You think this stage is your safe zone because of your last name? Not tonight!" The audience gasped. The moderators glanced nervously, and for the first time, Ivanka's composure cracked. Crockett's words landed with force, exposing a vulnerability Ivanka had worked years to conceal. The tension was instant, the shift undeniable. What was supposed to be Ivanka's moment of dominance turned into a stunning reversal. And in that flash, the entire room realized the debate was no longer about rehearsed talking points, it was about survival. The build-up to this clash had been weeks in the making. Networks promoted the debate as a showdown of two starkly different figures: Ivanka Trump, the carefully polished heir to a political dynasty, and Jasmine Crockett, the fearless congresswoman known for her unapologetic fire. For Ivanka, this was a chance to prove she could step out of her father's shadow and claim her own voice on the national stage. She entered the arena as the image of composure, confident that her family's wealth, influence, and name recognition would shield her from any real threat. But the public had grown restless with scripted lines and polished facades. Jasmine Crockett represented the opposite. She had built her reputation on speaking without hesitation, cutting through evasions with facts and passion that made her both loved and feared. To her supporters, this was more than a debate. It was the moment she would prove that truth could cut through privilege. From the moment the lights went up, she carried herself with an energy that promised confrontation, not compromise. The stakes were enormous. Millions tuned in, expecting a fiery spectacle. Analysts speculated on whether Ivanka could hold her own against a seasoned political fighter. Commentators reminded viewers of the Trump family's history of dominating media narratives. But in the eyes of many Americans, this was no longer about legacies. It was about whether power and privilege could still silence raw, unfiltered truth. And when Jasmine Crockett stepped onto the stage, the answer began to take shape. The exchange began politely, but it took only minutes for the gloves to come off. Ivanka attempted to position herself as the calm, reasoned voice, emphasizing her business acumen and her family's accomplishments. She spoke about legacy, about responsibility, and about carrying the Trump name with pride. But Jasmine Crockett was waiting, and when her turn came, she wasted no time. "You talk about legacy," she said, her voice firm and deliberate, "but what you call legacy, America remembers as scandal, nepotism, influence peddling, and silence when accountability was needed most." The audience erupted in murmurs. Ivanka's smile tightened, but she pressed on. "I stand here as a woman who has built her own path, someone who understands leadership through results, not rhetoric." Crockett leaned forward, her eyes locked on Ivanka. "Results? You mean taxpayer-funded positions handed to you because of your last name? You mean wealth built on doors closed to anyone who didn't come from privilege? Tell me, Ivanka, where exactly is the merit in that?" Gasps filled the room. Ivanka tried to pivot, citing charity work and initiatives she had championed, but Crockett wasn't finished. "Initiatives? You mean empty headlines that dissolved the moment scrutiny arrived? You stood silent while policies tore families apart, yet you expect applause for photo ops. That's not leadership, that's opportunism." The tension rose with every line. Ivanka's rehearsed calm began to falter as Crockett's words cut deeper. The moderator struggled to regain order, but the audience could sense what was happening. Ivanka was losing ground, one exchange at a time. What was meant to be her moment of control was slipping into a public unraveling. And the longer she tried to defend herself, the stronger Crockett's attacks landed, each one sharper than the last, each one chipping away at the carefully constructed image Ivanka had brought to the stage. The breaking point came in a single exchange that silenced the entire hall. Ivanka attempted one final counterattack, raising her voice with sudden sharpness. "You stand here pretending to speak for truth, but you've built your career on outrage, not achievement. People are tired of your theatrics. Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch. She paused, letting Ivanka's words linger just long enough to create suspense. Then she delivered the line that shattered the room. Theatrics? Ivanka, the only act here is you pretending to be a leader when the only qualification you've ever had is being your father's daughter. The crowd exploded. Cheers, gasps, applause. The energy shook the walls. Ivanka tried to respond, her lips parting in protest, but the sound was drowned out by the audience. Cameras caught the flash of panic in her eyes as she realized the momentum was gone. Crockett pressed forward, her voice rising above the noise. This stage is not your inheritance. This is the people's platform, and tonight they see the truth. You can't buy credibility. You can't inherit integrity. And no amount of spin can erase the facts. The moderators called for order, but it was too late. The defining moment had arrived. Ivanka, once poised and confident, sat frozen, her carefully rehearsed composure shattered. Crockett stood tall, the embodiment of unfiltered defiance, her words echoing long after the applause subsided. In that instant, the debate was no longer a contest of ideas. It was a demolition. One woman dismantling the illusion of privilege with the raw force of truth. Ivanka Trump was left humiliated, her silence louder than any rebuttal she could muster. And Jasmine Crockett had seized the night. When the debate finally drew to a close, the outcome was undeniable. Commentators rushed to call it one of the most decisive takedowns in recent political memory. Social media lit up instantly, clips of Crockett's words spreading like wildfire, hashtags trending across every platform. Memes, reactions, and stunned commentary poured in from across the nation. Ivanka left the stage with her head lowered, her attempt to project confidence drowned out by the roar of the crowd still echoing Crockett's words. For years, the Trump name had commanded fear and loyalty in equal measure, but on this night, that power seemed fragile, shaken, and exposed. Jasmine Crockett emerged not just as a participant, but as a force. To her supporters, she embodied a new era of politics, fearless, uncompromising, unwilling to be silenced by wealth or legacy. To her critics, she was dangerous, unpredictable, too willing to tear down without building up. But whether loved or hated, she had made herself impossible to ignore. The debate stage, once meant to elevate Ivanka's voice, had instead become the ground of her most public humiliation. And the moment crystallized a truth America could not look away from. Dynasties can crumble, names can lose their shine, but words delivered with conviction can change the entire course of a night. As Crockett left the hall, her message lingered like a thunderclap. Power built on inheritance may glitter under the lights, but it cannot withstand the weight of truth spoken without fear. The stage belonged to her now, and the story of Ivanka Trump's undoing would echo far beyond a single debate.